So figured I'd drop like a more informative video for you guys in regards to like the TCG. As you know, like Target at the moment of me posting this video has suspended the sale of like Pokemon cards in like some sports. So I figured I'd make like a little simple guide for like Walmart, and like this guide won't, I mean, these are more tips rather than a guide, but this won't be universal because I mean everybody's like Walmarts and stuff are different, and I mean this is more so me speaking from anecdotal evidence and stuff that I've seen from other people, but it should be in general help a lot of people find cards at Walmart, because Walmart's probably one of the hardest places to find cards. So the most important thing is, if you're trying to find cards at Walmart by yourself, like without talking to anybody, you're more than likely almost never going to find cards unless by luck. And that's just the honest truth. So the best advice I have to start is make friends. Make friends with people in your area. And I mean, and yeah, you can run into some pretty awful people at restocks and like waiting for cards. But for me, I mean, I've met the good and bad. So I mean, before, I mean, I'd be like a Walmart or a Target, and I'd see the card aisle, and like it looks pretty empty, and then I'd see somebody else come up, strike up a conversation, just kind of get that vibe for people. Like, hey, do you know when they usually stock cards here? Like, nah, I haven't seen it. Maybe exchange numbers. Like, hey, if you hear anything, let me know. And that's a good gateway to open things up. Like I said, I mean, the initial start to actually finding cards can be a lot of legwork to start off, but once you meet other people, it's a lot easier. Because like I only go out for cards one day a week, and I'm almost always finding cards. But yeah, like I said, making friends is the easiest part. If you're in like a local Facebook group for like cards and stuff like that, or like a Discord, find people in the area, talk with them, make sure it's like people with a good vibe. Otherwise, you'll end up running into people who like they might not tell you restock days or send you on dummy missions, or you'll be like, hey, I'm going to show up there at like 6. Like say Walmart opens like 7, then they show up with their friends at like 5 and kind of screw you over. So just like it still comes with like gauging people and stuff like that. So like I said, that is one of the most important things, is like making friends and like socializing with people, because like if you're just by yourself, that information bubble is limited. After that, it's basically like, let's say when you do go to Walmart and you see that like there's no cards, take pictures. Take a picture of like the Walmart like card section, see what it looks like. That way, and I'm saying this for Walmarts that are in your area. I'm not telling you to go driving around to 8 different Walmarts and stuff like that. I'm talking about your immediate Walmart near you, and take pictures, see how it looks. That way you can kind of tell like, hey, if you come in like on a Tuesday, then you might come in on a Thursday for groceries, and like that picture looks different. Maybe they stock that Wednesday, so it can get you a good, like, because the picture's different. I mean, also people can move stuff around the shelf, but you'll get a feeling of like, hey, looks like there's cards here, or like, hey, that Battle Styles pack wasn't here Tuesday and now it's here. There's like 4 here Thursday, so it gives you a good inclination. It like helps you build like some kind of system for yourself. And also look out for days when you see people standing around. A good inclination of when a restock might be happening, or restock days, is if you see people standing around. But also that is kind of a bad thing, because that also means that there might be a group that has already kind of made that Walmart their home a bit. You might run to good groups, you might run to bad groups. I mean, always, it doesn't hurt to talk. But I mean, if you're going to be somebody that like I said, and like I said before, it's about vibes. You give off a bad vibe to people, and I've done it plenty of times. Like a group of my friends will go, we know the Walmart's about to restock. We'll go, and then we'll get people coming up, and like they just give this really really bad vibe. I mean, there's like 7 of us, and first thing they come up and say is like, hey, can I get half? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, because I mean, like in the end, and like a certain level of selfishness does kick in, because if like for me personally, if I've been waiting at Walmart like an hour before open, and like me and my friends, like there's 6 of us there, and like somebody shows up and they're like, hey, can I get like an even split with you guys? A lot of times, depending on how much we expect to be there, we might say, hey, we'll give you some stuff, but I mean, we've been here for a while, because it's like at a certain point you kind of got to put your foot down, otherwise it kind of like it devalues the whole point of you guys getting there early. So like I said, when you see groups, you can't really expect everybody just like, hey, when you walk up to them, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll give you an even split. But I mean, if it's just me and another friend, like just two of us, and a third person walks up, I'll give them an even split. But if there's a lot of us, it's kind of hard to do that. But usually we always try to make sure we give them something, but we don't take everything. Like we don't touch Shining Fates at the moment because Shining Fates is pretty much dead. But like if there's Hidden Fate CTBs, if there's like five of us and five Hidden Fate CTBs, we're almost like gonna get Hidden Fate CTBs. We're not, somebody can't just come up and be like, hey, I've never had Hidden Fates. And like the thing is, like we're all here because they're super hard to find. We don't know when we'll see them again, so it's kind of like at a certain point people do become SOL. But yeah, in regards to groups, that is like the best thing. Talk to people. I mean, you might run into a scalper group, and sometimes that can be a good thing because the scalper groups are usually there for sports. So if you're there for Pokemon, usually they'll be like, hey, what are you looking to get? Pokemon. They'll be, oh, okay, yeah, we're not going to touch it. Have at it. So like I said, again, the key thing is talking to people. That is the best thing in the world. And for a thing not to do, don't call the store. I would highly advise don't call the store because most of the time the employees don't really know because usually a vendor does it. Only time I would suggest asking like employees and stuff is if it's somebody that you already have like a rapport with. Like if it's somebody that like they ring you up all the time at Walmart or something like that, if y'all have joked around, then yeah, feel free to ask them like, hey, do you know when they usually stock the cards? Nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, when people start calling stores and they start bugging employees randomly all the time, like telling them to check the back, never tell them to check the back. Please don't ever tell them to check the back because the thing is, again, usually it's vendors. They can't go and open those boxes. If an employee doesn't know that and goes and opens those boxes for you, they could get in trouble. So keep that in mind. So again, don't ask them to check the back. Please don't. Another thing is when the vendor does get there, be chill with the vendor. Make sure you try to be organized and stuff like that. Don't run up, but make sure everybody has open dialogue with each other. Like, hey, we're trying to do this and this and this. Because, like, you can't get that one person who, when the vendor's stocking, they try to run. Or when the vendor finishes, they try to run through, and they're at the back of the line. They go pushing everybody, and that's when stores stop selling cards. So you want to make sure that everybody is kind of on a level playing field of like, hey, we either get something this week, everybody gets a little bit of something, or somebody comes and screws it up. We all get something, and then might not be cards next week. Or you made the vendor feel uncomfortable with people running and stuff like that, and they change up the days. Because at the end of the day, you are at the vendor's mercy or the whoever's stocking's mercy of when they want to come in. Consistency with stocking usually happens when the vendor feels comfortable. If the vendors want to do the same day every single time, it's because they know that there's not really much to deal with. But when they start changing times, it's because people are giving them a hard time and there's a lot to deal with. So keep that in mind. And that's another thing with like talking to people. You can kind of know stuff about the vendors. You can know if like the vendor back doors, because that is a big problem at Walmart's. And because people don't really know like what usually comes into stock because they come in after, they don't know that it's getting backdoored. I didn't know that my Walmart up the road was getting backdoored until I was catching all the restocks and noticing what all wasn't there. And now that they know that we're kind of catching the restocks, stuff is kind of showing up all the time now because they know that we know what's going on, stuff like that. So again, just keep in mind of like your etiquette around the vendors and like how lines are maintained. Another thing is if you're at a restock by yourself, and you got a lot of stuff there and you know somebody that might be looking for cards that didn't make it, always offer up like, hey, I got something here. Can you send me the money? I'll hold it for you. We can meet up later, or I can hide it for you. Build those connections because that stuff will come back for you a lot of times. Because I've run into so many people that like at Walmart, I'm like, hey man, I'll hit you if I find something. I text them. The next I know, I'm getting text about, hey, I'm at this Walmart restock. I found this. Stuff like that happens all the time. It's not a guarantee, but it's definitely something that helps. And like, again, the whole core of this thing is communicating. If you cannot communicate with people, you're going to have a hard time. And this last part, which I know will probably be one of the least desirable things because this video is pertaining to Pokemon. If like you are at a restock, take sports, because with sports you can trade for good Pokemon products, because let's say if you don't know anything about it, like Prism is like top tier, and NFL, NBA cards, usually you can trade that for Pokemon from people who are scalpers that they swiped up a bunch of Pokemon and now they can't sell it because Pokemon is not profitable. It really isn't compared to sports. So keep that in mind too. Never touch baseball. Leave baseball on the shelf. Soccer you can touch at times, but also just like I said, NBA, NFL are usually safe bets. If you see it, grab a few. You can trade for like some scalper that you see it somewhere else, and you can get some good Pokemon. Because like usually like a $40 or $30 sports box can sometimes get you like a Hidden Fates ETB. That's how a lot of people I know have gotten Hidden Fates ETBs, but it can be a trickery slope to go down with the whole sports thing, because sports, it fluctuates pretty fast and you can end up being stuck with sports, but you can trade it for what you paid for in Pokemon a lot of times, or more. So keep that in mind also. But I mean, that pretty much covers everything that I can really say. But again, it's all about communicating, because if you're going to do stuff by yourself, you're going to have a hard time. So hopefully this helps. If this did help you, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. This all seems like such common sense, self-explanatory stuff, but a lot of people, it really comes down to they're not willing to talk to other people. And the thing is also, once again, this is anecdotal, but I've made so many great friends at restocks. Just meeting them like, hey, they're like, hey, I know about this store. Could you text me if you ever find out about this store? Yeah. We hang out, talk about stuff outside of Pokemon. But like I said, unique situation, anecdotal. It might always happen, but talking to people is the best way if you want to find cards. And don't be angry. We've all been angry at certain points, but talking to people is one of the best things. But again, you can run into stores that are dominated by a certain group, and when it comes down to that, you either have to have a group and y'all show up earlier, y'all work together, or that store is honestly just dead. Or if it's getting backdoored a lot, you're at the mercy of the vendor of what they leave out. So again, that's it. Make sure to like, subscribe, drop some comments if these tips helped you out or anything like that, or if you have things that I might have not covered. So again, I'll see you guys later and have a good day.